This is BJ Penn. This is my friend. I thank you for hanging, man. Really, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure.
Yeah, good to see you, Robin.
You're in Canada for like a week, or so. You were in Toronto over at Extreme Couture and stuff.
Yes, I was in Toronto at Extreme Couture. I was we did a great. It was a world tour. It was like a world seminar for Novo União World Seminar. And was ran by Vargane Fabiano and his wife Rachel, and they did a wonderful job. There was a bunch of people there, had a lot of fun, got to share our techniques. I always try to, when I do jiu-jitsu, I want to go into a place, I always try to show my favorite technique of all time and just get that passed on.
Which was what?
My favorite technique of all time is very basic. You know, simplicity is the greatest form of sophistication, and it's just grabbing the head. You're in half guard, basically. Yep. You grab his head and you put your forehead on the ground and you push his leg down and you go to the mount. It's so simple, right? You learn that from a kid. Half guard, go to the mount from half guard. Yep. That's basically my favorite thing. I try to show people if Carlos or Elio Gracie came and was like, what would be your maybe not what did you add to or what did you recognize in jiu-jitsu that works so good and you just believe this is one of a technique that defines what jiu-jitsu is. That's the technique. Yeah. Just in the half guard, push the leg down and go to the mount. It's a very simple and very effective.
Like from a philosophical standpoint, you're going from a place of good control and good dominance to better.
Right. I mean, if you were going against somebody who had no guard, who just left their legs flat on the ground, you just go sit on them. You wouldn't really pass their guard, would you? No. I wouldn't. No. I would just go sit on them and just start beating on them, right? Yeah. So same thing. I never pass. I just like to mount. So I will mount. I always say mount first. I always go for the mount first. And if they defend the mount, then I keep trying to force feed the mount, make him eat this, and if not, then I'll pass. But I always mount first.
You see these moments in time where people will be discussing a martial art, and they'll say, "Oh, people don't." The example I'm going to use is, for a while, you would hear commentators and people talk and say, "Well, a lot of fighters now want to fight from half guard. They don't like the mount." And I think that was just because some fighters weren't good at keeping them out.
There you go. Yeah. They would get rolled over, and it's a thing. He keeps that thing going. Right here is Jordan Main and his father.
Yes, they're friends of ours.
Hey, I got a lot of respect for you guys. I like you guys a lot. I'm enjoying the show tonight, watching you guys. Thank you. Jordan Main and his father. Yeah,
they're good friends, close friends of ours.
Good people, yeah.
And Jordan, man, have you seen Lee fight? His father?
I haven't saw Lee, but I know Jordan's a beast. And
he is, yeah, man.
I'll go check Lee out.
Yeah, Lee is 51 and he still fights.
Jeez,
yeah, Henzo fought the other day, 51.
Oh man, I wrote him a message before the show. I was like, my heart and strength is with you, master. And it's just amazing to see him out there, and all the stuff he's done. From his gyms to still fighting, winning a fight at 50, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Could
you fight at 50?
Never say never. I mean, everybody doesn't want me to fight right now as it is.
But you love to fight.
Yeah, I do. They either really truly don't want to see me get hurt, or they really truly don't want to see me win the whole fucking thing. One or the fucking other. We'll find out one day.
But you love to fight. That's who you are. You love to fight.
I do. I love to fight. Oh, Pina. Hey, Chavo. How are you?
Man, you know everybody.
Oh, all the old guys, right?
Yeah.
All the same generation.
We saw Matt Hughes. He was just hanging with you for a second there. He's looking good.
Yes, Matt's looking good. Yeah. He's going to make a very good recovery. Yeah. And, we're just hanging out. His brain's there. He's always teasing me, and we're just having a good time. Let me tell you a story about something funny, Matt Hughes. So he got me in that crucifix, and that was that scary thing, I mean, when I was in it, I was like, I never been finished in a fight before, so I was in the crucifix, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to do a lethal weapon, dislocate my arm to freaking get out of this freaking thing.
And that really went through your head?
Of course, I was like, I'm just trying to do it because I never been finished I'm just trying to get out, and Matt's like, Jesus Christ, Big John, are you gonna stop this thing? Are you gonna stop this? Because it's like so many unanswered already. And I'm like, come on, come on. Trying to release myself, and then the fight gets finished and this and that. But we're doing a seminar one day. Me and Matt are at the seminar, so I go, Matt, could you please show everybody the technique that you got me in, where you got me in a crucifix and you finished me off. You did a pretty good job once you got there. And he goes, okay, guys. So he gets down, gets ready to do the technique, and he goes, okay, guys, the first thing you have to do before you do this technique is find somebody really, really, really weak. He's fun. He's fun.
Were you in it at the time he's saying this?
No, I was just on the side waiting for him to do it. He's too funny. Man. We have a great time, me and him.
Yeah, you seem you're loving life. You're traveling around, sharing martial arts, training martial arts. This is your life.
Yeah, I am. I've been loving life, and we've been working some stuff with the UFC. Dana been helping me out, getting me brand ambassador stuff. So he kind of brought me and Matt back on as brand ambassadors.
Love it.
So you've seen us at the UFCs a lot more, and you'll continue to see us. We're around.
Cool. When you go now and you train, are you learning? Are you still learning as a martial artist? Are you getting breakthroughs where you can see martial arts in ways you didn't see it a year ago?
100%. I'm still every day something new. Martial arts. Every day I'm reminded of something I forgot to.
Yeah, that's
that, and because I could see somebody and I'd be like, oh, why about that coach? And it's like, there's so many different ways to coach people and this and that, and it's really, you gotta coach sitting in that. What is the most? You got the technique, and then you got sitting in there getting ready to do the damn thing. That's what you gotta train the most. Sitting right there mentally, because right before a sparring, everybody's sitting around. If nobody knows each other, nobody's met each other, even if they have met each other once or twice, sparring day, everybody's sitting in there, and you could bring the top all-time comedian in the whole world, and he could come in and tell the most funny jokes, and nobody's gonna laugh. And that's what you gotta train, sitting right there and just waiting.
How do you train that? How do you train that?
By doing it. You go, hey, Jason Perillo will go, BJ, you sparring tomorrow. I'll see you do good. I'll see you kick his ass. And he'll tell you that before you go to sleep. Why? So you can think about it all night. Right?
Yeah.
That's how you train it.
Yeah.
That's how you train it. You do it. How do you get better at surfing? You paddle out.
Right.
How do you get better at tennis? Play tennis.
Do you know Faraz Sahabi? You know Faraz?
Yeah.
I was chatting with him last night, and we were talking about Renzo. And he said that Renzo is one of these people, because he was fighting and around fighting so young, that he doesn't feel that anxiety. Do you think that's true? That there are some, or maybe you feel it much less than I do because of your experience fighting. Do you feel it less, or do you just deal with it better, or what's happening?
I think a lot of the anxiety has to do with hunger too. If you know you don't have the hunger, you're probably gonna have more anxiety. Like, fuck, man, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I just Perillo, I see it in all the stuff, and it's what we talked about, because Jason Perillo's father told him this quote, and I think about it all the time when I'm watching MMA and I'm watching these things, and when I'm watching people's careers, everything goes in a cycle. You're not always on the top, you're not always on the bottom. But the beauty of this knowledge is, when you're on top, be humble, and when you're on the bottom, don't worry, because your time will come again. Yeah. It's not even something to worry about. But I was saying that the other day in front of Leo Santos, and Leo Santos looked back. He said, "So BJ, you were telling me you were humble all this time?" I go, "Yeah, of course." He goes, "No, you weren't humble." I go, "Every time they started," he tells me, "How did they start it?" I tell Leo, "As soon as they put their name on the contract, they disrespected me." Tell me I'm lying. As soon as they put their name on the contract, they told me they could kick my ass.
Well, what if they just desperately needed money? Or what if
I don't think about that stuff. I just think about, you want to kick my ass.
Yeah. Well, or at least you've agreed to try. You have made the agreement to try to kick my ass.
Right? You don't think I'm disrespecting somebody putting my name? I'll fight you on this day. See you then.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna think, maybe you just need this for that. But maybe you just need to kick my ass for a reason. Okay.
Well, money and glory is a reason.
And there you go, of course. And that's the disrespect right there.
Right.
Yeah, so we're all right.
Yeah. On some level, though, when you...
Or if you're talking about sports or whatever. But
it's still, you're still fighting a man who says he's going to kick your ass. You're right.
Yeah.
But on another level...
No, it's all how you look at it, too. It's fun to play around with in your head.
For sure. Different perspectives of anything is fascinating, to look at it from other ways. But there is... as a martial artist, you will not have the ability to show your skills that you trained your lifetime for without that guy.
Yeah, that guy's a given. He is going to sign it. I don't want him not to sign it, but I want him to know when he does sign it, he just fucking disrespected me.
It makes sense.
Right, right? It's a given. Somebody's got to sign the fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Oh, man. Were you, so when we, Faraz and I were talking about Henzo, and he was talking about being around fighting from the time he was a kid. And he brought up this documentary that there's cameras there, and Henzo, a little teenager or kid Henzo, and there's two men fist fighting right there while Henzo's just moving around in his house. And how being around that. You were like that, too. I read your book. Fighting was something you did from the time you were young and something you wanted to do.
The fighting, people got into a lot of fights, a lot of scraps. I think in Hilo, most places, just small places, so it's like if you cut off somebody on the road and you go like that, you're going to see him tomorrow 100%. 100% you're going to see the guy tomorrow. You know what I mean?
And then,
so if you do that, just do it under the door like
there is, I was going to say legends, but it's fact. You went from not knowing jiu-jitsu to being a prodigy of someone who mastered it in a very, very short time. Very short time.
I was talking with Andre Pederneiras about, because I forgot about it. So it was 98, went to the World Championships as a blue belt. We got second. 99, is that Michael Bisping? Look at him. Look at him. Running off last night. Okay, so 99, we were third at World Championships at Brown, and then 2000 we were first place at Black.
That's fucking crazy.
That's what it was. It was in the 3 years. Blue, brown, black.
Why could you do that? Why were you able to do that?
Because I was youngry. I was young and hungry.
Youngry.
I was youngry. Yeah. But I liked it. I just loved it. And I always thought when it came to jiu-jitsu, you either had strong and stiff or weak and flexible. And I was always pretty strong and pretty flexible. I think a lot of people would be like, if they said, BJ, how did you win it? I said, I won it by overpowering everybody. They would say, no way. I said, yeah, still till today, I think I'm a very strong person. Just to grab someone's hand and push it around. And I can't lift a lot of weights or anything like that, but I think I can be strong when I need to.
And yeah, I intuitively don't believe you when you say that, but I know that you're telling me the truth. It doesn't sound right because that isn't, well, also you're not giving yourself enough credit for the elite amount of skill that is then applied with that strength.
Yeah, it is about leverage, but no technique will work without a proper amount of strength.
Wow. You just said you're one of the greats ever, and you just said something that so many other martial artists will tell me it's not about strength. They will. Many will say that to me.
Of course it is. Of course the technique itself when I'm showing you is not about strength. But here, feel Mark Coleman do the technique to you, and then go feel an 8th grade kid go do the technique to you. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. No.
You know. Yeah. 2 different techniques.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. I've broken down lots of your fights, and I like to watch fighting and like try to understand the moments and explain them for people when they watch. That's what I love to do. And over time, I find that we're lacking the words to properly explain it. Because if I say, well, you threw a left hook and that landed in this way, and then he checked, that's not telling the story because something's happening in your body. And if I explain what's happening in your body, that's not telling the story because fear or anxiety or confidence is in there. It's almost impossible to truly explain what's happening when you fight. The more you know, the more you realize there's more to try to explain.
Sure. You know? Yeah. I'm honestly, I don't even know about fighting anymore. Yeah. It's just like, when I was 18, I knew way more than I know. Because the more deep you delve, the more lost you get, and you keep diving deeper. At 18, it was simple. I didn't care about anything. It's like, what'd you say? Okay, I'm going to kick your ass or whatever. Now it's just like, and you dive so deep into the thing, and it's so weird. You're looking around, and you're like, let me just get back to the topic.
Yeah, I wish I didn't know as much. You wish you didn't know as much as you know on some level.
Well, how many times have you seen that happen to fighters? Like when they were raw, they were 20 times better, and then they learn all this technique, and they can't pull the trigger, or they're not as good, or it just that style doesn't work for them, and all that stuff.
You pointed out Jordan Mean, and you're a fan of him. Who else that's fighting tonight? Who else do you love to watch fight?
Well, of course, I'm here for Junior Aldo.
Yeah, of course.
And then I like to watch Joanna. I like to watch Joanna fight. Yep. Yeah. Of course, I love watching Eddie Alvarez. I haven't seen enough of Dustin Poirier's fights, but I know he's not a joke, and I got a lot of respect for him. But freaking, man, I really enjoyed Eddie Alvarez's last fight, man. That was just freaking, that was one of the best fights I ever saw. I was on my feet watching it, and the way it started, I was on my feet watching it, and I just never sat down. I was just watching the fight.
His coach said to me that they'll come in with a strategy, and then Eddie will just go on instinct. And Eddie said to me just the other day, I asked him, he talked about suffering in a fight. You have to suffer. And I asked him about that, and he said about, how and why you do that. And he said he knows that if he is suffering, that means probably the other guy is too, and he can outsuffer him.
Right. Redlining him. It comes to the point, what do you like more? And it depends what part of your career or whatever. Do you like winning, or do you like air? Which one do you like more? Do you like to win, or do you like to breathe more? You choose. Right?
Jesus. Yeah. It's a wild thing.
You tell me which one you like more. That's the one you'll get.
When I get to the show today and I walk in there, I get excited like somewhere between going to the circus and going to church. And then I see usually in the back, I'll see the ambulance there somewhere. And as soon as I see it, I remember, oh yeah, this is the serious business too. What do you feel when you get there after all of your fights and thousands of fights that you've seen and be a part of? What do you feel when you get to the fights?
To the arena.
Yeah.
Jeez, I still feel like an unbelievable feeling. I walk through the back door. Doesn't matter what side of the arena I enter. Actually, I could have got given a ticket and walked in through the front. Could have got a ticket and walked through the front. But as soon as I get in, man, the first thing comes to my head, just because naturally it's like I'm walking almost next to the stock exchange or something. Like this is business inside this place, like the whole arena type thing, and just the ambiance of it, and it just means business to me when I walk in. Still till today, every time. Still till today, it just means business, nothing else. And I still notice the little things, like people running past, pulling the cords, or just different things happening around the cage and this and that maybe other people wouldn't see as much as sitting in the crowd. I still notice all those other people moving around, making this whole thing like a machine that's just there to freaking give beautiful fights, give wars.
Yeah.
Just a machine.
When you used to prepare for fights, you would bring in and try to simulate the whole event, people screaming and refs and judges and everything, right?
We've had moments where I'm just people in the gym and stuff, like try to make it look like a smoker type thing. We have done that before.
And that would prepare your mind for the environment to some degree.
Actually, I never had a problem with the environment, to tell you the truth. I never realized I was fighting in front of a bunch of people. Maybe as I got older, but especially not as a kid. Never even noticed. I never even knew. That's why all these things I talk about now, these are things that I've realized kind of later, because I never even knew any of that was going on the whole time before when I just started fighting. I didn't even notice, Just like, ready, okay, come on, let's go, let's get this guy. You walk out, you see the guy's doing a ritual line on the mat or whatever, you're like, that's exactly where you're going to be lying. It's exactly where you're going to be lying.
Because he disrespected you and signed that thing 10 weeks ago.
Exactly.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah. And then he told all his friends he could kick my ass. He signed the contract and told all his friends he could kick my ass, and I felt that was disrespectful. Yeah.
And you were going to put him laying on that mat.
Oh, that's funny.
Man, it is. But there had to be fun somehow to it. You fought because you liked fighting.
Oh, I wanted to. In some ways, I got pushed into the fighting with the jiu-jitsu and stuff. But looking back, I always say, like, maybe I just wanted to be on TV, and I knew I couldn't sing, and this was my best opportunity. I wonder now, looking back, I knew I had no other talent than this, and the only talent in this was that whatever you invent in your own head can happen. That was the only talent. It's like imagination class, whatever you want to do.
what do you imagine now? Like, if you wanted a new adventure and you can imagine it and make it happen, what would it be?
Man, I can't get over fighting.
Yeah.
I can't get over it, and yeah, it's just, I think about it every day. I didn't go out and drink alcohol last night because just I can't get over fighting. I just think in my head, like, man, what if you're the fucking world champ again or whatever? You know, I just can't get over the thing.
How old are you now?
I'm 39.
Fuck, you can still fight. Hands-on, we just talked about.
Well, that's what I've been saying. I mean, everything goes good or this and that, but it really comes down to that thing where, like, do people really saying, I'm 39, Henzo's fighting at 50. I see guys get knocked out left and right. My last fight, I lost a decision, and everybody's saying, no, don't let him fight again. But, you know,
it's your life. It's your life.
But I feel it's from that. It's from you really don't want to see me get hurt, or you really don't want to see me win the whole fucking thing. Yeah. Which one is it? Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Fair question.
A lot of people are gonna be pissed off if I win the whole freaking thing.
Yeah. Hey, John. How are you, man? Nice to see you.
Good luck, man. Yes.
He's a great fighter. Yeah, he's a great fighter. Have you seen it? Spinning back fists, spinning back kicks, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, John McDessie.
Okay, I'm gonna look out for tonight. You got it.
Watch him tonight. There's a couple of really good Canadians on the card. Jordan. Alex Davis is very, very good. It's gonna be a good night. Man, I could sit and talk to you forever. I really could.
We have a lot to talk about. We'll catch up. We'll catch up, and then I'll come back on this show again.
Please. It's my pleasure. My privilege.
I hope it was worth asking me last night.
It was.
We're talking this and that, and I've been flying. I went from Guam to Toronto, this and that, and then I was sitting there, and I was like, fucking Robin Block, you got your dude. Easy.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Right on, man.
Thanks, man.
Call me.
That was fun.